Welcome
Bienvenido!
and welcome in, travelers. You're listening to the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. We're your podcast for escaping life's monotony, indulging in your wildest travel fantasies, and discovering the constant beauty of this ever-changing world.
You may experience some turbulence along the way, so buckle up and keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle as we wander on to our next destination.
On today's episode, we will be exploring the world through food and gratitude, giving you our top 10 food experiences while traveling and our top 5 things that we are grateful for this year.
Welcome to the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. We are your navigators, Allison
and Regan. And today, in honor of Thanksgiving here in the United States, we will be exploring travel through a couple of different senses than we're used to. And those are going to be taste and smell, which if you haven't gotten the connections by this point that we're talking about Thanksgiving, taste and smell, yes, you guessed it, we're going to be talking about food. We will also reserve some time to talk about some of the things that we are grateful for this year because it's really important to reflect and enter a state of gratitude this time of year, but also that's a good practice to have always. But of course, before we get started, we have our icebreaker. And today is in the spirit of Thanksgiving. What is your favorite part of a traditional Thanksgiving meal?
Funny you should ask. Earlier this week, I was just telling my husband I could really go for some mashed potatoes smothered in butter. So I'm going to have to say...
Good timing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say mashed potatoes because who doesn't love something just absolutely drowning in butter? And then all of the desserts. I love chocolate, and it seems like every other dessert on the table is chocolate. So I really enjoy the desserts and the mashed potatoes. How about you, Regan?
Yum. I just ate dinner, and I'm already starving again. This is going to be a tough episode to get through. I think I would have to say it's evolved quite a bit over the years, but stuffing right out of the turkey, not like the dry stuffing, but like when you stuff the bird before it gets cooked, that stuffing. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But I also just love a couple of years ago, my mother-in-law started a tradition of making egg rolls the day after Thanksgiving using all of the turkey and the stuffing and the potatoes and everything. She literally just rolls it into an egg roll wrapper and fries it. They're amazing. So I've really enjoyed that tradition that we've started. They're really delicious.
That sounds good. My family just like, here's the bread, here's the mayo, here's the leftover turkey, make your own sandwich.
All right. So we're just going to keep talking about food. So I hope your stomachs are ready to handle this. Let's get going. We are going to actually talk through kind of our top 10 foods or restaurants or food related experiences that we have discovered while traveling. And that opens up literally the entire world of food to us. So we're going to jump right in here with number 10. Allie, what is your 10th favorite food experience or food?
This one actually involves you, Regan. So our very first cruise, I believe was the first one, we got up at like 2 a.m. We actually set our alarms for this. We put on the robes and we got ice cream at 2 a.m. just because ice cream is self-serve 24/7 on a cruise. So we said, you know what? Why not? You only live once. Let's get up at 2 a.m. and eat some ice cream. It sounded like a great idea, but it didn't feel so great at 2 a.m. eating ice cream and then going back to bed on a very full stomach.
That was great. And actually, they're getting rid of the 24/7 ice cream. So I'm glad we did it when we could.
Oh my goodness. Well, guess who's not cruising anymore? Me.
Boycott. We're done. Goodbye. Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah.
What's yours?
I would have to say my top 10, I discovered bangers and mash in Ireland, and it's basically potatoes and sausage, which, I mean, is all of Irish food, but this is so good, and it's become one of my favorite foods. If it's on a menu at any restaurant now, I have a really hard time passing it up, and oh my gosh, over there, they know how to make some mashed potatoes, Allie. I know where you can go to get them.
Okay, sign me up.
All right, so moving on to number 9.
This is going to sound absolutely disgusting, but also the most American thing ever. So this past summer, I was doing like a whole out west trip with my family, and one of our stops was New Mexico. We went to an Albuquerque Isotopes minor league baseball game, and I ate a foot long hot dog. Okay. That's
Oh,
not my proudest moment, but it also kind of is at the same time because a foot long hot dog, I mean, come on, that's also really disgusting, but a once in a lifetime opportunity that I just could not pass up. It was longer than the bun. It was way too big and it was very messy, but it was such an American thing. I'm like, I just have to go all in.
wow, did you at least like get your picture on the wall or something?
No, I just have a picture of the hot dog. Not
Ooh.
even a picture on the wall, my name engraved anywhere. Disappointing.
Wow, yeah, that's disgusting. Good for you.
Again, not one of my proudest moments, but I figured it deserved a spot here on this episode.
Yeah, it's memorable, and that's what we're going for here is our favorite moments, even if they're bad. Um, so okay, my number 9 is Cafe du Monde in New Orleans is like famous for their beignets. And they, oh my gosh, they come in a bag. If you don't know what a beignet is, it's like fried dough, but like in a square. It's like a puffy little pillow kind of. And it comes in a bag that's basically like you have to dig through powdered sugar to get to the actual beignets. And they are melt in your mouth. The line is almost always super long to get these things. They're super famous. And this cafe is really famous, but they are delicious. I love it.
That kind of ties into my next one here that I have for number 8, which is Voodoo Donuts in Seattle. They are known for all of their crazy flavors or different designs, and there is always a long wait for them as well. I highly recommend for like, I went there kind of memory, but you can probably have a better donut somewhere else.
I feel like the crazy fun donuts are like the trendy thing right now.
Yes.
Like the $8 per donut kind of piled high with crazy toppings like jalapenos and I don't know anything that people don't actually want on donuts. It's just for Instagram. But yeah, that's totally the thing right now. I think my number 8, which is kind of going along with like this Instagram quality, there is a building in Phoenix, Arizona called Century Grand. And within Century Grand, there are a few different very, very well themed bars. They're teeny tiny, but these are like Disney level theming. And the one we went to was called Undertow. And it was basically themed as if you are on a pirate ship, like under the deck. I don't know what that's called. I don't know lingo for pirates, but it was just so cool. And like the lighting is so specific. And out the portholes, there's these videos that make it look like you're actually sailing on the sea. And then the menu is so impressive. There's like, oh, there's hundreds of cocktails that they've created for this place. And you have to be a top level bartender to work there. Super creative, really good time. And that was just like a really, really unique experience. Not necessarily a dining experience, but like food, drink, they go hand in hand. That was really cool. They have a couple of other bars in that building. One is called something Apothecary. And so it's basically like this old timey apothecary where all the little like bitters and things like that, they're all in like pill jars and things along the wall. It's really cool. The other one is like a railroad car. And it's really cool. Really well themed, well done experience. So now moving on to number 7.
Well, mine does not live up to that excitement, and people from the West Coast are probably like, "This is a pathetic answer," but I'm from the East Coast, so I love In-N-Out Burger. I know it's nothing crazy, but being from the East Coast, and I maybe get it once every like 2 or 3 years when I go to the West Coast, it's always so exciting to get a cheeseburger and like a milkshake. Their fries absolutely suck, but that's fine. The milkshake makes up for it. So whenever I go to the West Coast, I'm always on the lookout for an In-N-Out burger because I'm still 5 years old. So I enjoy a good little burger.
All right, my number 7 is Hoop-Dee-Doo Review in Disney World. And this is a dinner and a show sort of situation, and it's all you can eat barbecue. You've got your ribs, you've got your chicken, you've got corn, you've got all sorts of different things. And then for dessert, it's strawberry shortcake. And the show, it's just like quirky and fun. And they pull audience members in to like be some of the characters. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's super, super fun. There's music and everything. And one time I got pulled in to be the can dancer in the show. That's like, hair flip sort of thing. But it was just super fun. And I love that the one time we went also, they picked on my dad and he was really nervous that they were going to pull him on stage. But that's always just a really fun time. And I love my memories from there. All right. So moving on to number 6 here.
So number 6 for me is something called silpancho. It is a traditional dish from Cochabamba, Bolivia. That is where I spent 2 weeks doing a service learning project. If you'd like to hear more about that, check out episode 8. But basically, silpancho is rice, on the plate, and then on top is a thinly sliced piece of meat, and then they have tomatoes and a fried egg on top. It is delicious. I was just reminiscing about this when I was making my top 10 list, and I was looking at pictures, and I was like, oh my goodness, the things I would do to be transported back to Bolivia just to have that dish.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And also tomatoes. Are you actually the Allie that I know?
My mother would be so proud. She loves tomatoes. I don't mind tomatoes if they're in things, but just to eat a tomato just by itself, ew.
Tomatoes are one of those polarizing things. Either you love them or you hate them, I feel like. And it's always that thing. It's like, yeah, I'll eat them in things, but ew, no tomato off the vine for me. But yeah, it's weird that that's so polarizing.
Yeah, well, it off the vine just tastes like straight up dirt to me. So it needs to be cooked, add the butter or the stuff that doesn't make it as healthy. That's when it tastes good.
Oh, douse it in butter. Douse anything in butter. Honestly, I'll eat a stick. No, I'm not going to eat a stick of butter. I take that back. But my dog ate a stick of butter the other day. That was fun.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But okay, I think we're getting into really sticky territory here. It's hard to make these fit into the top 6 now. So number 6 for me is I'm gonna butcher this name, Friedheimer greenhouse in Iceland. And you can learn more about that in our Iceland episodes. But oh my gosh, we had the most delicious soup, and you're eating in a tomato greenhouse. And there was some amazing bread. All of it was good except for the olive bread. I know Allie's gonna have something different to say about that.
Wait till you get further down my list. I will have something else to say about that.
Oh, okay. So you'll learn more about the olive bread soon. But that was definitely my number 6. It was delicious and the atmosphere was really cool and the company wasn't too bad either.
Good answer. You made up for it.
All right, quickly, let's move along to number 5 here.
Okay, keeping along with my Bolivia theme here, I also had salteñas, which were phenomenal. They are also another traditional dish in Bolivia, and they are filled with beef, pork, or chicken, as well as peas and potatoes. So I don't like peas, but just eat around them. And it is phenomenal. There's some kind of juice in there as well. It's amazing. It's kind of like a Bolivian version of a chicken pot pie in a way. It's fantastic.
My number 5 is the restaurant Nostro in New York City. Oh my gosh. It's an Italian restaurant. They during the pandemic they did unfortunately close one of their locations. One of them is still available though. Oh my gosh, the food was amazing. They had a really great Valentine's Day special, no corkage fee, so you can bring your own wine and everything. That was really nice, and the atmosphere was so great. Like the most romantic little evening. Well, not the most romantic evening because there's another more romantic evening that I'll get to on my list later, but this one was phenomenal. Just everything about it, food, atmosphere, the works. It was so great. All right, moving around to number 4.
Here's where we differ here. Number 4 is olive bread for me. It was Amazing. It's kind of like tomatoes. You either hate them or you love them. And these were green olives specifically at Friomar, I think is how we say it. It's a greenhouse. It's about a little over an hour from the Reykjavik airport, so really great stop. And the olive bread, I just could not get enough of. They couldn't make it fast enough and put it out on the table. I could have eaten easily like 6 loaves. That would probably been disgusting, but it is so good. If you love olives and you love bread, you need to go here. I can't. I could just talk about it forever. But I'll let Regan have her time to shine here, and you can share your number 4 because we would be here for the next hour talking about olive bread.
Yeah, that's really all the time that olive bread deserved. So I'll move this along now. My number 4 is Giordano's deep dish pizza, and this is a Chicago style deep dish pizza, of course, and it's a based in Chicago chain. They do have them around the country more, but Chicago's where it's at. Oh my gosh. Just one tip, maybe don't get it if you're going to be eating it in the car. It's not that kind of pizza. My mom and I got it on our way out to Minneapolis. My dad and I got it on our way back from Minneapolis. We got it when we were in Denver, Colorado. All 3 times actually eating it in the car. Would not necessarily recommend that. It is not normal pizza. It's very messy, but it is so delicious. It's my favorite pizza ever. All right. How about number 3?
Well, keeping up with like Italian here, I have gelato because my mom is like very eats healthy, like loves carrots and celery. Sorry to call you out, mom, if you're listening to this, but whenever we're in Italy, she will let us practically have gelato for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is the best thing ever. And gelato is amazing. So the fact that she let us have it for 3 meals and probably a snack too and dessert is up there at the top. It's always a great memory going to Italy and getting to have gelato pretty much anytime we would want it.
Oh, yum. Ooh, can you imagine a cruise with 24/7 gelato?
Okay, now that would be redeeming.
Just saying. $1 million idea here. My number 3 is okay. So the first night of my honeymoon, we were in Fort Lauderdale waiting for our cruise to go out, and we went to Southport Raw Bar, and they have the most amazing Old Bay shrimp. It's basically just like steamed shrimp with Old Bay seasoning, and I'm pretty sure we got 2 orders of them and just sat there eating it all night. It was amazing. And to this day, I cannot recreate it at home, so I can't wait to get back there.
That sounds good. I mean, I don't really like shrimp, but going on
There's
a trip,
butter.
yeah, going on a trip sounds good. So we can, make that happen so you can get your shrimp.
All right. How about number 2?
Okay, we're really getting up there now. So, Swedish meatballs from Sweden specifically is my top 2 there. You can hear about my Swedish experience in episode 23, but they do live up to the hype of Swedish meatballs. They are served with mashed potatoes, so no wonder why they're up there on my list. But basically, it's what you'd imagine Swedish meatballs with like a gravy on top and mashed potatoes like layered underneath. And amazing.
Yum. Sign me up. I feel like those are like the words I keep saying, but they're the words I keep meaning. So we're going to go with it.
Sign me up for this whole food tour. How about that?
Yes. World food tour. I'm down. Speaking of world, Disney World is comes up again for my number 2, and it is California Grill in Disney World, which is one of the fanciest restaurants in Disney World. But it was when I say that Nostro was one of the most romantic evenings of my life, California Grill was the most romantic evening of my life. Top floor of the Contemporary Resort, which is right outside of the Magic Kingdom. We went at fireworks time. Someone proposed right in front of us. I was a hot mess. I'm crying and my emotions are through the roof. The food was amazing. The wine was great. The company was great. I got to get dressed up in Disney World and feel like an adult and the child. It was just amazing. So that is my number 2. I would go back there and do it again every day of my life. And drum roll, please, because we are at our number 1. That's my drum roll. All right, Allie, what's number 1?
Okay, mine might disappoint some of you if you've been on a cruise before, but I have to go with the chocolate melting cake. on a cruise? Like I said in our icebreaker, I love desserts, specifically chocolates, and it comes with a little scoop of vanilla ice cream. And what makes it just so amazing is just remembering all the memories of going on cruises and always looking forward to dinner because you build relationships with the wait staff and you get to spend time with the group that you're with, like on the cruise, and just eat amazing food and as much food as you would like. If you want to have 6 chocolate melting cakes, they will bring you 6, no questions asked. So I always loved having dessert, and having any meal really on a cruise is always fantastic. I know I was a little boycotting in the beginning with the 24/7 ice cream going away, but as long as I don't take the chocolate melting cakes, I think I will still go on a cruise.
Yeah. Also, I think you cheated and looked at my list because my number one is dinner on cruises. They're amazing. And it's exactly what you said. Like, yes, I've had great food elsewhere, and the food on cruises is really, really good. But it's the memories that come with it. I always look forward to dinner on cruises because it's like you draw it out. Like, you have your appetizer, then you have your entree, you have your dessert, and there's no cell service. So like you just talk with the people that you're with, and like we've sat at different tables with other people that we don't know and like gotten to know them. It's always such a great part of every day on a cruise. I love it so much. So that we have the same number one.
That's good. That means it's really good, and we can't recommend it enough. And now a quick word from our sponsor. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web on topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a natural human voice. The entire web becomes listenable for the first time, all in one place. Browse articles from topics you choose and start playing. Stop scrolling and start listening. You can follow any topic as specific as you like, from sports, tech, business, science, Bitcoin, or even the Kardashians. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you aloud. And the best part, they have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. You can even find us there. I started using it as my default podcast app. They even have a digital radio. Download and use Newsly for free now at www.newsly.me or from the link in the description, and use promo code WIVES. That's WIVES. And you can get a 1-month free premium subscription. You can find all this information in our description from this episode. And now back to our episode.
All right, so that was our top 10 for our foods and restaurants and food related things. So hopefully that's inspiring you as you're getting ready for Thanksgiving this week. But also in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we wanted to take a moment to just like kind of talk about what we're grateful for. So Allie, do you want to get us started with some top 5 things that you're grateful for this year?
All right, let me go grab the tissues first. It's going to be emotional. As cliche as it is, I am thankful for my family. If you know me personally, you know I live at least 4 hours, pushing 5 hours from most of my family and friends. So I don't get to see my family as much as I would like to, or as much as I was used to growing up. So anytime that I get to spend with them is appreciated, and it's always amazing to get to see them a couple times a year that I get to see them. So I'm grateful for my family and their willingness to come see me and be flexible and support me.
That it is cliche, but it's so true. It's you're so lucky when you get to be grateful for your family, because lots of families are broken. On a less serious note, the number 5 thing that I am grateful for is honestly seltzer. Because without seltzer, I don't even know that I'd be alive, because I literally have such a terrible problem with dehydration. I have been severely dehydrated several times in my life, and it's not good. I've gone to urgent care several times for it, and seltzer honestly has saved my life. I won't drink regular water. I just won't. I won't remember to. So as funny as it sounds, I'm very, very grateful for seltzer, specifically Polar Seltzer. Shout out to Polar for making amazing stuff. Prevented many a headache, and honestly keeps me alive and hydrated on a daily basis. So thanks, seltzer.
You want to sponsor us?
Yeah.
We would love it. It's keeping Regan alive and keeping this podcast going, because without Regan, we would not be the Wanderlusting Wives.
Full freaking circle. Look at that. Yep. All right, number 4.
So my number 4 is the gift of travel. So I haven't been able to travel as much as I would like to this year, but I still have gone on a couple of trips, and just reflecting on those times, it just makes me grateful that I have the privilege to travel, because not a lot of people get to do that, especially with the pandemic still kind of being on people's minds. Some people are still worried about going out and traveling. So just the fact that I have access to healthcare that allows me to go and feel comfortable during my travels, and the fact that I have a job that allows me to have time off to go and experience things with my family and friends, and experience new cultures and different states and countries as well. I'm just grateful for that opportunity because I know not everyone gets that.
My number 4 is I'm really thankful for sunshine and the changing of the seasons. Particularly this year, I've been trying to be more mindful about that. Just in like, it's it's really good to remember that the changing of the seasons also is indicative of like our life cycle as humans. Like the leaves on the trees, again, another cliche, but like when they're dying is when they're most beautiful. And so it's a good reminder that like as we go from summer into fall, like that kind of depression that kind of sinks in a little bit more. We're not able to be outside as much, seeing people as much or anything. It's like this is okay. This is what's meant to happen. We are so strong in who we are, and nature just reminds me so much of that. So I've been trying to be more mindful and connected with nature, and I'm just really appreciative of this beautiful world that we've been given.
Yeah, I love that, especially like kind of ties into my number 3 here. Just the fact that you and I have had this podcast this year, and it's been able to allow us to escape from the craziness in the world. We have this fun outlet that we get to connect with other people who are passionate about travel. You and I get to connect daily, and then we record almost weekly. So I'm just grateful for this podcast and the connections that we've made, and the fact that I've been able to spend more time with you than I have when I lived one street over from each other. So I'm really grateful for this podcast and all that it's brought this year, and I can't wait for next year.
Okay, cue the waterworks.
I said get the tissues ready.
Oh god. But yeah, I'm sensing this like theme of connection here. And my number 3 is honestly like the invention of airplanes, and just like the fact that they allow us to travel to be with family and friends from afar. I wouldn't be able to fly out to Phoenix, Arizona to have met my nephew this year, or to go to the Taylor Swift concert in March, and my brother and sister-in-law wouldn't have been able to just fly to the East Coast to be able to partake in our family vacation. So it's those meaningful moments that air travel has allowed us to be more present for. Travel in general, absolutely, but airplanes, I'm shook by their importance and how much they have meant to my family in making us present for one another.
Yeah, that's great. I try not to think about, everything that goes into making an airplane in the air. That's kind of scary to think about. But
So
if
true.
you can just disregard that and think about how amazing they are, yeah, definitely really cool that we have something like that to keep us connected with people who are across the country.
How about number 2?
Okay, number 2 is a heavy one. Not to get into too many details, but I'm really thankful for my health this year. I had a seizure for the first time in like 5 years. In case you didn't know, haven't heard some of our earlier episodes, I do have epilepsy, and it is Epilepsy Awareness Month
Woot woot.
in November. Yeah, so I figured I would want to talk about how grateful I am for my health, even though the year did start off rough, having a seizure and not being able to drive for 6 months. I am thankful that, my epilepsy is not as serious as some people's. It's under control, and that I am able to live to see another day, and that, it is hard to be not being able to drive for 6 months, but I'm thankful that it was only 6 months, and I'm on the other side of things here, the second half of the year.
My 2A gratitude is your health also. I'm so grateful that like everything is settling down and has settled down for you, for sure.
Thank you.
My number 2 is my puppy, Remy. He's a miniature golden doodle, and he is such a ray of sunshine in my life. I love him so much. he's such a good little buddy, from like sleeping on my feet while I work from home to just going on walks with me and enjoying this beautiful world. But then also just everything we can learn from dogs. I just feel like animals in general appreciate the little things so much more, and like their lives are so much shorter than ours, but like I look at him and he's just like happy all the time, and I'm like, why am I not happy all the time? Like, I don't know. So I'm really grateful for him and his existence and just everything that he brings to our family.
Yeah, I love that. I often think, like, recently, all the leaves falling and stuff, my dog was thrilled about the leaves, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have to get all these leaves out of my yard." So that's like you said, you kinda get a new appreciation for things, like, you get to see something through another creature's lens and the things that they appreciate.
Yeah. All right, and another drum roll. I will spare you all my terrible drum roll, but number one.
Number one also kind of has to do with Regan here. Just grateful for my lifelong friendships that I've had. I've recently came to the realization that two of my best friends I've been friends with for 17 years, which is crazy, and I'm only 24. So the fact that I've had these two friends, Regan and Andrea, for 17 years of my life is just something to really be grateful for. And from being second, third graders now until young women. Now Regan and I are married. So it's just amazing to see how those friendships have remained intact through the highs and lows in every season of life. I'm just grateful for two of my best friends that I get to enjoy life with, even from another state away.
Yeah, those relationships, and like particularly our friendship, it's like it's you can't go through everything we've been through for 17 years. Also, can we take a moment? Like, mind blown. Oh my gosh. But you can't go through everything that we've been through and not look back with gratitude, just like through thick and thin. It's incredible. And that kind of ties into my number one too, is like all the fruitful relationships in my life, from you and our friendship, and like the laughter we've shared in this podcast that we're doing now, like all of those memories, and my family, my community group through church, my husband, like these relationships honestly are what keep me floating on a daily basis. Just like the little texts that get sent here and there, like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what my dog did, or like pictures being sent, things like that. Like, I do not know what I would do without these really important relationships in my life, and I'm beyond grateful. And again, cue the waterworks. I thought I had it under control. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we're grateful for a lot. We have a lot. We have a lot of privilege in this world, and just taking a moment to acknowledge it and acknowledge how lucky we are. Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, I've loved this year with the podcast and all the other things that we've mentioned that we're grateful for this year. It's been a really great year. It's still not over yet. It's only November, so we still have another month, which is exciting because the holidays are around the corner. So lots of fun to be had.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you've had any really cool food, or let us know what you're grateful for during this season. But thanks for tuning in this week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wanderlusting Wives podcast. Come escape with us again every other Tuesday. Give us a subscribe and a follow on all of our social media and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until we chat next time, wander on.